I love getting an emotional gut punch from stories. I love getting attached to characters, and some of my all-time favorites are the stories that make me cry. Something else I also really love is musical theatre. I've been watching live theatre and particularly musicals now for over 2 decades, and I've been really fortunate enough to see a lot of amazing productions. But no other piece of art has ever given me quite as much of an emotional gut punch as the 2024 West End production of Next to Normal. This is a show that took 15 years to come over to the UK, and boy, was it worth the wait. Its Donmar Warehouse and West End runs may have been limited, but now we've thankfully got a proshot that's immortalised it forever. So in the interest of spoilers, which I'd like to avoid in this particular video, I can't go too deep into exactly what Next Normal is, but fundamentally the story is about two things: family and mental health. This musical revolves around the life of Diana Goodman and her family. Diana is a mother who has bipolar disorder, and the story explores the ways in which her mental health impact her and the rest of her family day to day, including her husband Dan, her daughter Natalie, and her son Gabe. Diana is a role that's raw and vulnerable right from the beginning. I feel everything Diana goes through, every manic high and every crushing low. Watching Caissie Levy in this feels like watching somebody who's literally spilling their guts out night after night, and it's so mesmerizing. And that's without even touching on her vocals. Seeing her sing I Miss the Mountains live took my entire breath away, and I'm still not sure I've actually got all of it back. Jamie Parker as Dan breaks my heart in this. He's got so many small nuances to his performance here that I absolutely adore. This is someone who's trying so hard to hold it all together. He eventually finally breaks down towards the end of the show, and it's such a powerful moment. Their daughter Natalie is great. She's really funny, and the back and forth she has with her eventual boyfriend Henry is so endearing. She's also really overshadowed and doesn't feel seen at all by her parents. If you can watch Eleanor Worthington-Cox's portrayal of Natalie without wanting to just give her the biggest hug, you probably don't have a heart. I've left Gabe to last, and there's a couple of reasons for that. One, it's tricky to talk about Gabe without really going into spoilers. But the second reason is that I have a lot I could say about Jack Wolfe's version of this character. The role of Gabe was originated by Aaron Tveit on Broadway, and the character was very much portrayed as quite a macho and jock type. Jack Wolfe's Gabe is completely different. This is a Gabe that's sweet. He's vulnerable. He feels like a little boy at times. A little boy who's just desperate to spend time with his mum, but also doesn't really want to because he's 17 and he's growing up and he wants to be independent. But Gabe is also sinister and manipulative. The way that he not only took Gabe and made him his own, but essentially completely flipped the character on his head and still made it remain so true to the original material is outstanding, in my opinion. And that's without even getting into his vocals. I mean, his rendition of I'm Alive is just an absolute rock anthem. I can't really finish this section without mentioning both Trevor Dion Nicholas and Jack Officio, who play Diana's doctors, Dr. Fine and Dr. Madden, and Natalie's boyfriend, Henry. They're both fantastic in this. Next to Normal is a rock musical. The genre lends itself so well to the overall themes of the story. A really good example of this is right at the end of the opening number, Just Another Day, when Diana has a manic episode and she begins making sandwiches all over the kitchen floor. And the build in that music, and it's getting faster and faster, and it's really beautiful. The final thing I want to touch on is just the staging. There's a kitchen counter set up in this production that's running on a revolve, and the way that's utilized, I absolutely love. It's doubled as a hospital bed at one point. It goes from being this space where Diana is with Gabe and they're getting ready for their day, and then slightly later on there's a family meal that they're all sitting around, to then have that turn on its head in the second act, and suddenly that space is turned into a hospital bed when Diana is going through really intensive treatment. I also want to pull a section of the conversation I had with my good friend and podcast co-host specifically about the Kitchen Council because I think her take on it was really, really interesting.
They use it as well as like a height thing, don't they? As like a hierarchy. Gabe like climbs over it and like crawls over it to be higher than people and over people.
Ultimately, this production of Next Normal is just something I've got so much love and admiration for. If you don't really think musicals are for you, I promise you'll find something in this to appreciate and enjoy. And hey, if you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Finally, I just wanted to plug the podcast I mentioned earlier. I have a musical theatre podcast. We have weekly episodes where we deep dive into musicals. We show each other musicals we haven't seen. We talk about musical TV shows like Glee. If that sounds like a podcast you might enjoy, I've linked our Spotify, YouTube, and Instagram accounts down below in the description. Check it out if you want.